Hi, I'm Jenny Denniston, Director of Admissions at Blyth Academy. And at Blyth Academy, we have 11 locations in Ontario, one of which is in Burlington.
And I'm Cody Moynes. I'm the Business Development Manager at Ppl Airways in Burlington. We're a flight school and career college. We've been running for about 40 years. We can train students to get their Ppl, Cpl, multi-engine rating, pretty much anything you need to get prepared to fly for an airline.
And so Blyth Academy Burlington has partnered with Ppl Airways to offer a really amazing aviation pathway program. So what would happen is that for students entering in grade 11, they would work towards earning their Ontario Secondary School diploma. So within doing grade 11 and then 12 with us, they would be also working towards the private pilot's license in their first year, the commercial pilot's license in their second year, ultimately then graduating with their high school diploma and having the opportunity to fly. So Cody, can you just tell me a little bit more about what the requirements are to become a pilot?
For sure. So the most common sense thing you need to have to become a pilot is just you need to be comfortable in an aircraft. So we recommend most of our students, who haven't had the experience of flying in an airliner or in a small single engine aircraft, to go take a discovery flight if they can. After that, there is a medical requirement that can be done with a Transport Canada medical examiner, CAME. Those are all found online. And then after that, there's a couple steps along the way in terms of just small little written tests, as well as some hourly requirements that you need to meet in the air and on the ground. Those are both things that we do here at Spectrum. And then once all those minimums are complete and you are at a flight test standard, we can recommend you for a flight test and for a written exam. And then once you pass both of those, you are a licensed pilot.
That's incredible. And part of the beauty of our partnership is that the schooling aspect is incredibly flexible with Blyth Academy. So for example, students may be doing period 1 and period 2 in classes with us, and then would spend their third period and maybe more at the airfield in the afternoon. Depending on time of year, they may start the day at the airfield and then come in and do periods 2 and 3 with us. So that flexible scheduling really does allow for us to work around both sort of weather and all of those requirements, as you mentioned. So we talk about Ppl, Cpl. Can you just explain a little bit between the difference of those two?
Yes, of course. The Ppl is the private pilot's license. Lots of people like to say that the Ppl is your license to learn. So that allows you to fly on your own, fly with family, fly with friends. Lots of people who are hobby pilots will end up getting their private license, and that's it. And they'll kind of get a float plane, fly to their cottage, fly to meetings, things like that. But for those who want to fly for a career, you do need to earn your commercial pilot's license, which is the Cpl. And so once you've earned your private license, all of the hours that you've earned to do that are counted towards your commercial license, and then you have to add on to that to a total of 200 hours. And then obviously there are a bunch of little stipulations along the way, 300 nautical mile flight, another written exam, another medical, which is a little bit more stringent in terms of vision requirements and things like that. Once you complete all those, then you are eligible to write the test and do the flight test. And then once you pass that, then you are considered now a commercial pilot, which means that now you can fly and earn money as a career.
And there are some career options between the point where a student would complete the Ontario Secondary School diploma and sort of the portion with you guys in terms of learning, correct? Before they then go on to write that test for the Cpl, or there's some instructor opportunities as well for you?
So what happens is most airlines require you to have a minimum of 1,000 hours of flight experience. So like I said before, you hit the minimums for the Ppl, which is actually 45 hours. Most people do it in about 60. And then from 60 to 200, that's where you get to the Cpl, and say you finish at exactly 200 hours, then boom, you need another 800 hours until you get the 1,000. So once you have your commercial license, you generally start your first job as a pilot to earn that extra 800 hours to go to an airline. And so most commonly people who train with us will end up flying for us as a flight instructor. So you're a commercial pilot now, you get your instructor rating and you start teaching other people how to fly. And then those hours that you are teaching are then put into your logbook to be used towards being eligible for an airline job down the road.
So really great opportunity for students who take this aviation pathway program to know sort of what those next steps would potentially be in coming out of it. Just briefly, in terms of admission to Blyth Academy, so we are a Ministry of Education inspected private high school. So there is a formal online application which you would need to complete to apply for the aviation pathway program. A couple supplemental questions which would be asked, things like, have you done the aviation medical prior to enrolling, and a couple of essays just to understand your motivation behind wanting to do the aviation pathway program. We would require any previous transcripts or report cards. Depending on where a student is coming from, if English is not the first language, then we would need to see an IELTS test. And there is ultimately an admissions interview with the principal of Blyth Academy in Burlington, and then a review by the formal admissions committee for entry into the program. And we will be taking our first class in September of 2020, which we're pretty excited about. Last thing I guess I'll mention is we have the opportunity for you to join a virtual info session, which we are hosting together on May the 7th. So for more information about that, you can go to the Blyth Academy website and click on info sessions. Thanks.